In the heart of a bustling city stood a renowned museum, home to the world's most treasured artifacts. However, the jewel that shone above all was the Star of Ancients, a diamond of immeasurable value. In a dimly lit warehouse, a group of skilled thieves gathered, each with a special talent that would play a crucial role in their ambitious plan. Smooth-talking Sam, the mastermind, had a plan that was as flawless as the diamond they aimed to steal. Lila, the tech whiz, was in charge of disabling security systems with her laptop. Tiny, ironically named for his towering stature, was the muscle of the operation, while Swiftfoot, whose light steps could tiptoe across a whisper, was their eyes in the field. "Tonight's the night," whispered Sam, addressing the group as they stood huddled around a table, poring over blueprints and outlines. "Get ready, team. The Star of Ancients will soon be ours." As the clock struck midnight, the team dressed in black jumpsuits, gliding like shadows through the deserted streets. They reached the museum, where Lila got to work on the security panel outside, her fingers dancing over the keys. The imposing door clicked open silently, and they slipped inside like wisps of smoke, undetected by patrolling guards. Throughout the dimly lit hallways, the team moved with precision, guided by the blueprints etched in their minds. The closer they got to the vault, the more the air crackled with tension. They arrived at the hall leading to the diamond's chamber, where a web of laser beams sparkled like crimson spider silk. Swiftfoot stepped forward, her eyes narrowing as she surveyed the room. With incredible agility and grace, she navigated through the lasers. Each step was calculated, and the room was finally clear. Past the lasers, they faced the final obstacle, a thick vault door secured by the toughest lock system. Lila plugged in her laptop, hacking her way through layers of firewalls in a race against time. Beads of sweat trickled down her forehead as she worked, while Sam kept a careful watch on the corridor, whispering encouraging words to his team. Finally, a faint beep signaled the other's success as the heavy door swung open. The Star of Ancients lay nestled in velvet, its luminescent sparkle casting light on the awestruck faces of the thieves. Triumph filling the air, Sam gently lifted the diamond from its enclosure. Caught up in their success, they almost missed the sound of approaching footsteps. A guard had been alerted. Heartbeats quickened, and they swiftly retreated, their escape as meticulously planned as the heist. Under the cover of night, the team melted away, leaving behind a mystery for the world to unravel. Their hearts raced with exhilaration and the thrill of a mission accomplished, knowing the Star of Ancients was now a part of their legend. In the still, shadowy halls of the Grand Museum, where moonlight trickled through tall windows, a group of nimble figures crept through the darkness. Their eyes sparkled with mischief, guided by the whispers of excitement and adventure. The leader, Alex, a clever and daring raccoon with a bandit mask across his face, led the pack. "This way," Alex whispered as they tiptoed between the dinosaur skeleton exhibit. Each of his companions was a different animal, bringing unique strengths. There was Bella, the squirrel, who was swift and agile, bouncing on tiptoe across the marbled floors. Tom, a cautious mouse, was the planner, always with a map crumpled in his paws. Lastly, Gizmo, the inventive rabbit, with a toolkit strapped to his side, ready for any mechanical challenge. Their eyes were set on the sparkling diamond, the centerpiece of the museum's treasure trove room. It was legend that the Moonstone, as it was called, shimmered as brilliantly as the moonlit nights they so dearly loved. Once inside the room, Bella buzzed with excitement. "I can't believe we're actually doing this," she squeaked, her eyes glued to the jewel. "Focus," Alex reminded them, his tone serious but kind. "Tom, what's the plan?" Tom pushed open their map, his little hands pointing. "We swing over the lasers, land on the third tile, and Gizmo will handle the case." With agile movements, they got into position. Bella leaped acrobatically, skimming over laser traps, landing nimbly. Gizmo, with precision, used his tools to quickly but carefully detach the diamond case from its security. As soon as they grabbed the diamond, the entire museum filled with noise as the alarm blared. Red lights circled vigorously, painting the halls in an urgent crimson hue. Panic momentarily seized them, but Alex acted fast.
Go, go.
Split up, he shouted, his voice rising above the din as footsteps began to crescendo in their direction. Tom scurried through a narrow crevice, Bella darting down the open corridor, and Gizmo followed the air ducts. Alex, with a final look at the security converging, dived into an art gallery. They reconvened at their meeting spot outside, all but Bella, who was nowhere to be seen. Until her distinct voice came from above. Up here, she called from a tree, her tail swishing joyously. Everyone chuckled with relief. Another adventure successfully ended, Alex said, holding up the diamond now safe in their paws. And as they ventured back into the forest, leaving the museum and its surprises behind, they glimmered with joy, knowing theirs was a bond stronger than any treasure. In a dark alley, under the dim glow of flickering street lamps, three figures huddled together, their whispers carried away by the chilling wind. Alex, with piercing blue eyes and a steely demeanor, confronted Sarah, whose shifty glances betrayed her calm facade. Beside them, Liam, the youngest of the group, shifted uneasily from foot to foot. "You did it, didn't you, Sarah?" Alex's voice was a low growl, his anger barely contained. "You set off the alarm." "I did no such thing," Sarah retorted, crossing her arms defensively. Her eyes darted towards the entrance of the alley, scanning for any unwanted eavesdroppers. "How did the cops know then?" Alex pushed, stepping closer, his eyes narrowing suspiciously. Sarah swallowed hard, her resolve beginning to crack like thin ice under pressure. She hesitated, then decided it was time to confess. "All right," she sighed heavily, looking from Alex to Liam, who was watching the exchange wide-eyed. "I was going to tell you both, but I made a deal with the Thunder Tigers." Liam gasped, his face pale under the yellow glow. "The Thunder Tigers? Sarah, they're dangerous." I know," Sarah said, her voice a mixture of desperation and defiance. "But think about it. That diamond is worth more than what we were promised. The Thunder Tigers offered me a better deal to sell it directly to them." Alex shook his head, fists clenched. "You betrayed us, Sarah. You put us all at risk just for a bigger cut." "And what about you, Alex?" Sarah shot back, her eyes flashing. "Have you never done the same? We all wanted out, didn't we? You said it yourself. This was our last gig." A heavy silence settled over the trio as they stood, locked in a stalemate of betrayed trust and anger. Finally, Alex turned away, his decision made. "You're right, it was the last gig," he said, his voice cold and unyielding. "But we're done, Sarah. You're on your own now." Sarah watched him go, her heart heavy with regret, but her mind resolute. Liam lingered a moment longer before following Alex, leaving Sarah in the shadow-filled alley, pondering the cost of her betrayal. In the bustling city of Rivertown, where the river danced under the moonlight and skyscrapers rose like giants, trouble was brewing. Two rival gangs, always at odds and fueled by an ancient grudge, were about to face off in a showdown that would send chills down anyone's spine. Alex, a cunning racer known for his brilliant maneuvers and calm under pressure, was ready to outsmart anyone who dared challenge him. But tonight was different because Sarah was on his tail. Sarah, who was as daring as the wind, with a mind sharper than a hawk's eye, known across the city as the Whisper of Speed. When the rival gang arrived, it was as if the city itself had taken a deep gasp. Chaos erupted like a whirlwind of noise and motion. Tires screeched like seagulls in a storm, cars roared like lions in a chase, and gunshots shattered the night like fireworks gone astray. In an instant, Alex and Sarah were locked in a high-speed chase through the neon-lit streets. They darted around corners, weaved between traffic that was too slow for this fiery pursuit, and leapt over potholes like gazelles. Each was determined not only to be the victor of this furious race, but also to outwit the other in a battle of wits and wheels. The city watched in suspense as Sarah, in a moment of daredevil brilliance, swerved her car onto a train track, the echo of the steel against wheels sounding like a melody of chaos. Eyes widened, breaths were held, as an oncoming locomotive thundered down the track, its whistle screaming as if to warn her. But Sarah, with her heart galloping like a stallion, narrowly avoided the rumbling beast in a move that would be talked about for years. As the chase continued, Rivertown knew it was witnessing a spectacle not just of speed, but of bravery and brilliance. What the night held for Alex and Sarah could change their lives forever, but one thing was clear: the city's heart would never forget the night of the chase. Under the soft glow of the rising sun, Alex stood on the rooftop with a sense of victory, yet a heavy heart. The morning air was crisp, carrying with it the lingering whispers of the night's chase. "It wasn't supposed to end this way, Sarah," Alex said softly, holding the glistening diamond gently, as if it were not just a gem but a fragile piece of his own heart. Sarah, weary from the chase, leaned against the cool stone barrier, her eyes filled with both remorse and stubborn pride. "I never wanted it, Alex. Not truly. It was about more than the diamond." The city beneath them slowly came to life, the distant sounds of cars mixing with chirping birds. It was a typical day for most, but for Alex, it was the aftermath of a storm he wasn't sure he had weathered well. Revenge isn't a game you win by stealing. Alex slid the diamond into his coat pocket, its weight surprisingly less significant than the one in his heart. He turned to Sarah, seeing the girl he once trusted reflected in her weary eyes, alongside a stranger he didn't recognize. "You betrayed me first, remember?" Sarah replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was left standing in the shadows, while you moved into the light. I was young, foolish." Alex sighed, wishing he could rewind time to when they were friends and everything seemed so simple. The situation weighed heavily on them. The sky began to brighten, and with it, the realization of the choices they had made and the paths yet to be walked. Alex stepped back, giving Sarah the space she needed. "We can choose differently from here," he offered, a final attempt at peace and understanding. Sarah nodded, a glimmer of hope daring to shine through the sadness. "Maybe one day." As the sun cast its full light over the city, Alex knew the journey was far from over. He carried the diamond not just as a prize, but as a reminder, a relic of a past that shaped their future choices. And so he walked away, leaving behind the rooftop of choices they had faced, wondering if sometimes victory wasn't about winning, but about the lessons learned along the way.